Hi, everybody. My name is Sue Figge. I'm your professor for the next 6 weeks. I want to discuss a few housekeeping rules for this class. Some of you have had me before and some of you haven't. And I'm a stickler for a couple of things, so I'm going to go over them pretty clear with you. Um, the first one is that assignments, other than discussions, labs, and exams, more than 4 days late will not be accepted. All accepted late assignments will be suffer 10% grade deduction. So what is late? I want to make sure I'm clear on that. Late is if it's they're due at 11:59. If they come in at 12:01, they're going to be marked late. And it very clearly spells it right across my board that says late in flaming red letters, that your paper's late. I'll automatically do a 10% deduction. So I want you to be careful of that. Also, you'll get no points at all for the discussions if they're not submitted by the due date. All right, so if they're not submitted, you're not going to get any points for that. That's really important because that's 30% of your grade. So make sure that you do those. Those discussions it's where you get to meet other people, you get to have other ideas. It really is, I think the discussions are one of my favorite parts of this class. Which takes us to the next part once we read this. If you have life that happens to you and things happen that you can't control, and the exception is like a medical emergency, a death in the family, and you can document it. Keep in mind, I don't want your medical information, but if you can document that you aren't there for a reason, you need to send me an email or you can send me a text at 413-883-3537. We'll discuss it. We'll figure it out. And if it's something that I feel is legitimate, I will give you, I'll work with you on that. I work with many students, but I'm a stickler on you need to have proof. I don't want to hear that your dog ate your homework. So I was a police detective for 25 of my 32 years as a police officer, and I've heard many, many excuses. And funny is, some of them were legit, but in all honesty, if it's a legitimate one, let me know. Let's go to the next part of this class. Let's go to the modulars that you have this week so I can go over that as well. So modular for week number 1, see if I can get there, is going to be the written assignment with police and protesters. You can tell my computer is going at the pace that it wants to go. So this is a very interesting and it's very controversial paper this week. It's 4 to 5 pages using APA style. You are required to cite your sources. Now, some of you, I understand, having a little difficulty with the book on that. I did upload one of the PowerPoints for one of the chapters, and I'll put the other ones on there as well. But there's enough information out there on this week's assignment in the internet that you'll be able to use it. But make sure you cite your sources. Keep in mind that there's the first thing I'm going to tell you how I look at the papers. I look at the papers not for content. Right off the bat, I look to see if you're following APA format, if you have 4 pages, and if your sources are cited. I then look to see how the VeriCite has come back as. If it's coming back as a high number, I'm going to be looking to see comparisons the whole way through. Need to know that I will definitely mark down for that. And if I feel it's not your work or too close to somebody else's work, I will definitely let you know that. And your grade will be marked substantially down for that. This is something that this particular written assignment, there's so much information out there that you should have no issue in being able to get 4 to 5 pages, which brings me to the 4 to 5 pages. That doesn't mean 3.5 pages. It doesn't mean 3 3/4 or 3 with 3 lines missing from the bottom. If you don't make it to the 4th page, full 4 pages, then you'll be marked down. I always mark down for not fulfilling the 4 to 5 pages. And also not having your sources. Your sources are not part of that 4 to 5 pages, nor is your cover sheet. Your 4 to 5 pages are the gut of your paper. That'll be what your content. All right, so keep that in mind. If you have any questions, again, you can email me, but feel free to use the internet to write this paper. Now, when you read this, I'm going to read it to you. Do you believe the protests and actions of protesters concerning police use of force and racial issues that happened in the United States in 2014, which would be Ferguson, until present, are examples of criminal behavior? In other words, Do people committing crimes because they feel there's been injustice? Does the ends justify the means? Or is it criminal behavior? Do some people just partake in criminal behavior? Or is there an issue out there? There clearly is an issue. But I want you to do both sides of it, and ask yourself uh, what's working and what's not working on this paper. So, um, where do we get to? How do we get to this stage? And how do we get out of this stage? Because it's not a really good one right at this moment. So I want you to think about that. Write both sides. I really appreciate both sides. I do not like one-sided papers ever. If you don't agree with the other side, say, this is another side that's out there. I'm not buying it. This is why I'm not buying it. Um, so, and very often you'll see that I'll write back to you, and I may not, it may not be my opinion, but I'll put the other side there because there are two sides to every story. Somewhere in the middle we'll find the truth, I'm sure. I look forward to your papers this week. If you have any questions, let me know. Remember, they're due September 16th. That's 4 days away. So you really need to start getting on this. This is a class that is based on, time management's huge, very huge. Best of luck to all of you.